Out of all the Espada, Grimjo very easily takes the spot as my favorite member. Anybody that's an anime fan, especially a shonen fan, just can't help but be drawn to these characters that just enjoy the thrill of the fight. The meathead powerhouse types, the Black Air Force energy characters. I'm talking like Zoro, Kenpachi, Yujiro, and Sukuna being examples of people that fit that category. But when it comes to Bleach, one of my favorite examples of this character archetype is none other than Grimjo himself. Not just because of how he fits in this archetype, but his dynamic with other characters and how he directly contrasts Ichigo in every way, shape and form. Grimjo is first introduced during the Arrancar saga, and almost immediately from his introduction, we can almost exactly tell what kind of character he is. We know that Grimjo is impulsive and that his mentality relies completely on instinct, almost the exact opposite of Ichigo's logical nature, and what Ichigo struggles to deal with throughout the Arrancar saga. Ichigo is established to be someone that cannot fight without reason, and his whole fighting style relies on logic, which ends up conflicting with his inner hollow. Even looking at White Zangetsu's speech, what's the difference between a king and their horse? Even if they are the exact same, what separates the two? It doesn't take much to understand that he's talking about Ichigo and himself, that they are both exactly the same in terms of ability and strength. But what makes White more powerful in this moment is that instinct. Ichigo has reasons to fight, but he can never truly overpower their opponent because deep down he's rejecting his hollow side, albeit for good reasons, but it still ends up hindering him because he's making himself weaker on purpose. But when Grimjo first touches down in the world of the living, he immediately aims at Rukia with no hesitation. Just like how he told Okiura, he aims to kill on the first strike, the complete opposite of Ichigo, who hesitates to get the kill. His fight against Byakuya being a major example of him holding back. What I love about Grimjo is that he won't just kill randoms for the sake of it. I like to think that it plays into a part of having killer instinct, not just having the will to fight, but to fight strong opponents and putting your life on the line to get stronger. His dynamic with Ichigo is also great because Grimjo himself is an extremely cocky prick and Ichigo is an S-tier shit talker, so it's just fun to hear them banter. Like, you can visibly see Grimjo get bored when Ichigo doesn't pull out his Bankai in their first fight and gets irritated with Ichigo basically BSing him in their final fight. Since the start of Wakamondo, Ichigo has been reluctant to accept his battle instinct over time. In his fights against Yami and Grimjo, he realizes that he has to accept and control his hollow. In his fight against Dordoni, he learns that he can't just show mercy to enemies that want him dead. And now in his final fight against Grimjo, he doesn't realize it, but he's slowly behaving more like a hollow. And even Grimjo calls it out. When Ichigo reunites with Orihime, his first instinct was to fight and beat Grimjo because he's subconsciously looking to battle, just like a hollow, even if he doesn't admit it. The best part of their entire dynamic is easily their fight. This fight is also one of the most entertaining fights in Bleach because it's one of the few fights where there are two powerful characters fighting each other on somewhat equal terms. It is also, in my opinion, the clearest contrast in characters, down to the character design. Ichigo repping the color black because it's Shinigami, and Grimjo wearing the white to oppose him because he's a hollow. Even their accent colors are contradicting, Ichigo's orange hair being the opposite to Grimjo's blue hair, and the red accent on his hollow mask being the opposite to Grimjo's green accents. Ichigo's Bankai outfit is more loose-fitting, but Grimjo's release outfit is more tight-fitting. I might be reaching with that last one, but no one else, in my opinion, contrasts Ichigo's design like Grimjo. The ending to that fight was also flawless. We get to see Grimjo's backstory on his life as a hollow before he became an Arrancar, and what influenced him to act like a king, having a purely instinctual mindset, while Ichigo accepts his own instinct, that deep down he wants to beat Grimjo, but at the same time Orihime helped him to remember the reason for fighting, and in the end, by accepting both his Shinigami and Hollow traits, he defeats Grimjo. Overall, these details about Grimjo's character, his absolute top tier fight and his conflict with Ichigo, and how Ichigo evolves throughout their encounters is why he's personally my favorite Espada and why I believe that he contrasts Ichigo perfectly.